views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
This show's audio was via a Skype call.
Welcome to Conscious Confidence Radio, a timeless wisdom with Sarah Main. Follow host Sarah Main on her ongoing journey of conscious confidence and gain timeless wisdom to unleash unparalleled confidence. A conscious confidence. Learn to ignite the living spark of wisdom, a new narrative for fulfillment contained in Sanskrit and the ancient, powerful, engaging, and fun conscious conversations to discover your own magnificent true self. Learn to dispel the fear shadow as Sarah provides essential knowledge about embracing change and the power of transformation. Get ready. Conscious Confidence starts now.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm Dr. Pat.
And I'm Sarah Main, and welcome to Conscious Confidence Radio.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun here today. So Conscious Confidence Radio is all about a timeless wisdom. And this is not just a radio show that Sarah does. This is actually a way of life. And it's been thrilling to see the evolution of conscious confidence as a message for the world. Today, one of my favorite things, I can't wait to hear what Sarah's going to say, about the deep dive into resilience, self-esteem, and balance. I can't even believe those three things are in the same sentence.
Well, I guess my approach is that this should be normal. We should see this as a fundamental part of a human being and not see it as a special thing. But I think there's things today that are showing that there's a few things out of balance, hence the word balance in the title.
Yeah. Well, listen, this comes on the heels of the suicide of Anthony Bourdain. Yeah. And, and it's not the first. I mean, Seattle has gotten their suicide. I don't even want to say it, statistics. We are now looking at people and the rise of fear, the rise of anxiety. And so the rise of fear and anxiety has a negative effect on self-esteem. Of course, they're inversely related sometimes. So what's going on? What's happening?
Yeah, well, it's a very, very good question. And I know a lot of people are addressing this, and I certainly am too. And it's coming up more and more that if you take that all of these issues are not to a human being, a human being's natural state should be balanced. Mm-hmm. You think that's in the design. It should be balanced, should be confident, should be able to act and respond and take the challenges of life easily and respond and grow from them. I think there's a fundamental lack in how we're brought up, in how we're educated. It was different when we were growing up, but I think nowadays the tendency is to just push people into highly intellectual pursuits and not consider the whole person. So there's a lot of analysis in education. Kids from a young age are taught to analyze and question, and that's all fine, as long as other things are provided as well. And starting from young, we need to look at the whole person, that we all have a physical, a mental, emotional, and spiritual body. 4 bodies. Sounds weird. But if you think of it like that, if you think of it like bodies, our physical body needs food and exercise every day. Everyone knows that. Yeah. Okay, appropriate food and appropriate exercise. And then the mental body, it also needs appropriate food and appropriate exercise. No one's ever thought of the mental side of our nature, our constitution, needing food intake and exercise, what we give out. Similarly, our spiritual side, our spiritual dimension, and our emotional side, our emotional dimension, and call them bodies. It's just easier to understand. Mm-hmm. They also, the emotional side needs food. It needs input of emotion and output. And similarly, spiritual, food and exercise. If you look at it like that, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, food and exercise, taking in and giving out, then you've got a sense of balance of the whole person. You're caring for the whole person. And, you know, this is where there are imbalances occurring. Different people are addressing them in different ways. I'm just coming at it from the timeless ancient wisdom, which has been around for millennia, which is there to care for everybody, the whole person.
You know, I want to talk about the whole person. And, you know, I kind of cringed a minute when we were talking about resilience and we were talking about balance and we're talking about self-esteem. But they really do go together.
Absolutely.
And when you're living in the world that we're living in today, and I honestly have to turn the news off. I try to stay on top of things, but that's not where I can fulfill myself. But many people don't. We're on social media. We're following this. We're following that. And it gets us out of whack.
Yeah. Well, if you consider all of that stuff that's going in is all food, it's food of a particular type. It doesn't matter whether it's, you know, social media or the news online. It's all of a particular type. And it's just like eating the same food the whole time for your complete diet. You know, it's just, I don't know what food you like. Let's say it's pizza. If you only ate pizza, that's all you ate, you would get sick. I mean, it's just not a balanced, healthy diet. The body's not designed to exist on that sort of food. Highly processed, even natural pizza that, you know, but let's just say pizza that you bought from a pizza chain, or hamburgers or something.
Right.
So what we're doing with all this online stuff now is it's just feeding off a particular energy. So it's not feeding the physical body, obviously, but the mental and emotional body in particular is getting bombarded with just a particular diet the whole time. And the imbalances are there. It's plain to see.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because today, for whatever reason, I woke up today and all of a sudden I've got a fruit salad craze. And so I woke up this morning and I put all this fresh fruit together and walnuts together. And, you know, I had it for breakfast and then I'm thinking, okay, lunch. And I'm like, I got to have more for lunch. And I made myself some fresh quinoa. So all of a sudden now I'm in this mode with this. And isn't it funny you're talking about this today? It's unusual for somebody like me to do that. But my body must be crazy. It really is. It's not my personality. I mean,
are you
think
a pizza
about
person?
It. Yeah, I'm definitely a pizza person, but I'm not the person that eats the same thing 2 or 3 times in a day. Yeah. And I don't know what's going on to that. But the point, though, about today's show is we have to be mindful of the readiness that we can create for ourselves to really be aware of what's going on and know that we don't have resilience, right? We have to be able to spot that, I think, no?
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's understanding ourselves better and even just knowing that there's a physical, mental and emotional and spiritual side to ourselves and that we need to nourish and feed all those parts of ourselves. And then also exercise them, do something as well. It's both. It's like the inward breath and the outward breath. We take in and we give out. But it's understanding all of those. And obviously, just like your body's craving fruit at the moment, you don't always crave fruit. But at the moment, there's something in the fruit that your body's desiring, and it's telling you. And the same with the mental and emotional and spiritual. There's clear needs there, and you feel them in your body. Sometimes you just need peace and quiet, calm and rest. Other times you need to be out and enjoying nature and walking and engaging with people. My husband and I love ballroom dancing, and we can tell when we feel like going out dancing, you know, and it's not just the physical dancing, it's talking to people and engaging with them. We love that. And there's other times where you do need to sit and rest. Like yesterday, we had a quiet day. We went walking, we had lunch, and we just regrouped again. So these are simple things, but if you're stuck in an online world, you disconnect from a lot of these basic needs that we all have, and then the imbalances occur.
One of the things you talk about, and I want to talk about this with you, is I think the expression is, you use the expression rootlessness, like not having a focal point. You know, my mom used to say, honey, you got to get your feet on the ground, right? Another way of talking about that. And it's, you're over here, you're over there, where are our roots hitting the ground? Where are they going in? Where are they able to take hold? And I think that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, and how deep are your roots? The rootlessness and the roots is all related to how deeply connected we are with ourselves. Then we're aware of the balances and imbalances and what we need. And that's where the resilience and the self-esteem comes from, because we value and esteem ourselves. But the rootlessness starts with how connected we are to our true values and our qualities and the virtues. That is where we fundamentally get the roots deep into the soil, into the earth of ourselves. And my mother used to say about getting grounded as well, get your feet on the floor, get, all of those sorts of references. But, to have those clear reference points of values is where to start in terms of feeding our spiritual side. And we wouldn't necessarily always equate spiritual nourishment and strength and growth and roots and the state of our being and values, but it's in those great universal values of love, of courage, of magnanimity, of generosity, of kindness, of truthfulness, all of these great values and virtues. If we decide what's important to us, pick just three, and have our roots deep there. That is the place to start, and we start feeding ourselves from there.
And I want to talk about this when we come back from break, too, because, someone said to me, a number of years ago, they said, Pat, I've talked to you and you're searching for what it is you're called to do. And, what makes you smile to do it? Think about the things where you feel completely natural and embedded in whatever it is, whether it's grounded, rooted, but what are those moments? And don't judge yourself for whether or not you think it's okay. So when we come back, I want to talk with Sarah about that solution, that notion of feeling that, of understanding it, but also to know that it's a call for reconnection in some of the most deepest ways. What is it about roots? How is it when the roots of a tree or a plant, and I was just out there with the tomatoes, so I'm all about this right now. What is it about them that they can coexist in such a small place, overlap each other, touch each other, but never hurt each other and just grow all together? What is it about that system that they have that we have too? Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wondered if there's a way to heal the deep, hidden inner issues, wounds, beliefs, and traumas? The journey into spiritual healing engages people in all areas of their lives to heal themselves and others. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as Dr. Jaffe brings conversations of healing of body, mind, and spirit as he merges the excellence of traditional medicine with the beauty of spiritual healing. For more information about Dr. Jaffe, this show, and his work, visit drjaffemd.com.
Conscious Confidence Radio, a timeless wisdom with Sarah Main. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio and join Sarah on an adventurous journey to the deeper level of meaning to move beyond today's world of constant change, confusion, and uncertainty beyond the shadow of fear. This hit show explores key concepts such as confidence, values, and attitude in a dynamic way. To learn more about Sarah and her work, visit sarahmain.com.
Hey, everybody, I'm Dr. Pat, and guess who I'm with today?
Hi, Dr. Pat. I'm Sarah Main, and welcome to Conscious Confidence Radio.
I'll tell you, we do have some fun around here. I'll tell you, if it's not fun, I don't know why we're doing it, but we do have some fun. I have to laugh about the topic today, right? Because balance is not something that I'm really good at all. I'm better at harmony. And some people say, well, harmony is balance. But you're going to talk about this, right? And we're going to talk about there is a way for us to follow that root system. There is a connectedness that happens so naturally. And you're going to talk a little bit about how we can remember. But before we do that, please vote. How can we find out more about you, as well as, this is a coaching program as well. And folks that want to build their conscious confidence, that want to build self-esteem, that want to look at what it means to build a life that's, got a foundation of resilience, they can work with you directly.
Yeah, thanks. That you can go to my website, sarahmain.com, sarahmane.com, sarahmain.com, and there's a download button there. Go and click the download button, and I've got a free giveaway. And there's more information on the website, but you can get the free giveaway. And there's tons of information on the giveaway. It's a reference sheet, all about this balance and nurturing the whole person. And this is fantastic if you've got children, and also for yourself.
Yeah, it's especially important, for us to pass or transfer this knowledge to our children and our grandchildren. And, this is what I love about talking with you, because what you have created is reminding us of ancient wisdom. Now, let's talk about this idea of reconnection. Are you saying that part of what's happening is we're in so many different places, flitting over here on social media, over here, that we maybe don't remember what connection is about?
Yeah, that's a good description, actually. We're flitting around, but we're flitting around in just a very narrow band of awareness or consciousness. And the reconnection is reconnecting to the wholeness that is ourselves. And that's what ancient wisdom is all about. Ancient wisdom appears like it's teaching us something, but really its purpose, and it says this, is to reconnect to the wholeness that is there already, and therefore awakens it within us. And that's what my Conscious Confidence program is all about, is simple and practical and easy for everyone to do, to reawaken within themselves that connection with themselves. And that's where the balance, the strength, the resilience, the self-esteem, and then basically the joy and zest for life comes with it.
We were talking, myself, Dr. Ronnie, and Dr. Darvish, we were part of a contingency that got together very accidentally, but not really, like a bunch of years ago. We all went on wellness healing journeys, which means all of us at some point in our lives have not been well. I mean, really not well. I don't mean like a cold. I mean right. Yeah. And so as a result of that, we got to learn a new level of awareness about what wellness could be. I don't come from I'm telling you, I am the least likely person to be talking with you today about this if you go back to where I grew up. But sometimes spirits got a different direction for our lives.
Yeah.
What is it about those directions? What about the spiritual body? And how do core values over a lifetime help guide us to what we really want to connect with?
Yeah. Well, the real essence of core value is honoring yourself, honoring a deep connection within yourself. And one of the best ways of connecting with ourselves is just to ask ourselves, what is important to us? What is the most important thing? And I'm not talking about some physical object or some experience. Is it one of these great values, such as truthfulness? Is it love? Is it kindness? And kindness is not just being nice to people. Genuinely, that essence of kindness. If you meet a really, truly kind person, they're a beautiful soul. It could be courage. could be magnanimity and generosity. Whatever is the great value or values, say 2 or 3, that you connect with, that is the place to start, because it awakens within us that deep energy, that spiritual connection with our own being. And that is the place to start, because we want the roots going in at that point, because no matter what you're meeting in life, your response, if courage is important to you, then you will have the courage to step up and not be limited by some fear that you might be feeling. Quite rightly so, it's natural.
Mm-hmm.
But if your value is of courage, you will always stand up for what's right, what's true. You'll take the opportunities as they come. If it's kindness, it won't occur to you to speak harshly to someone. You will respond with courtesy, with respect, with grace, with dignity, with kindness and understanding. This isn't rocket science. This is how, really human beings are designed, should be interacting with each other. We go back to your tomato analogy, like how they're all climbing all over each other and it looks all twisted, and yet they're not tearing each other down.
No.
They're living together, they're coexisting, they're thriving together. And then and that's the same for us. If we are rooted in these values don't compete with each other in the sense of trying to dominate. They coexist. It's a natural, beautiful harmony. Some people may naturally lean to courage. They resonate with that energy. Some more with magnanimity and generosity. Some more with service. Some more with truthfulness. Truth doesn't mean the others aren't predisposed to being truthful. But it's a case of where the emphasis is. And ultimately, they're all forms of love, universal love. But, just to say, oh, it's all love, doesn't actually help. You need to zero in a bit more, go a bit deeper, because we all have different lights and shades of what resonates and we connect with. And this is what I'm talking about with values, because values are what we honour in ourselves.
It's interesting we're talking about this. One of the things I did last night is we've been getting really radical weather here in the Pacific Northwest. We get a lot of rain, but we don't get a lot of thunder and lightning and like that, right? But we have been. And so I thought, I don't have these tomatoes staked. I haven't cared for them. I haven't pruned them back, because I didn't realize they would be growing so big here. So I went out yesterday, and myself and my friend, and we worked on them. And one of the things I found so hard to do, Sarah, was I had to prune back some of the leaves. I had to, these beautiful, everything's green and it's beautiful, but these leaves that were growing were not allowing the nutrition to get to where it needed to go. Yeah. And I think in life, especially with values, I think we have to look and get really clear on what they are. And those values that are not our values, that we are adopting or we're pretending to adopt, they don't help us, do they?
No, we need to be conscious and awake and make deliberate choices. Exactly like the pruning, it's a case of balance, of measure, of knowing how much, when to start, how much, when to stop, of everything. And that's every day from the moment we wake up. We don't just keep eating all day. If you do, you get sick, you've got a condition, you've got a problem, you need help. It's the same, if all you did was study the whole time without getting out and appreciating and enjoying nature, just a beautiful sunrise or a sunset or some plants or something, imbalances will occur within us because it's just not natural to be so obsessed about just one thing. So similarly, in this day and age, if we are not clear on our values, then we're kind of wandering all over the place, and we'll end up inevitably spending too much time reading news, which is unhelpful, to be honest with you, and does cause a lot of imbalance, mental and emotional imbalance within people and within ourselves. We know when we've been too obsessed about one thing, we feel it. We feel depleted. Our energy's out of balance. We don't feel happy. That's not natural. So it does take quite a degree of mindfulness, of being conscious, being awake, knowing when, that's enough, stop. Just like we can with our food. Well, it's the same with the mental intake, same with emotional intake, and same with spiritual. We can't just sit and meditate all day. That's not really for us. I've heard of people that do sit and meditate all day and they become a bit disconnected and unable to function. And ultimately that doesn't hurt. I mean, it's like kale and broccoli. We're told it's good for us, but if that's all we ate, we would get sick.
Yeah. And by the way, my recommendation is don't eat any of them without garlic. That's just what I'm saying. Just get that garlic, throw that in there, and now we're talking.
Except if you're a ballroom dancer, you have a different relationship with garlic.
Oh, no. Or a table tennis player. Forget about it. Oh, my gosh. I made that mistake one Friday night. I cooked up a batch of that. And Saturday morning, I go play. And you have no idea. And honestly, I play really hard, like ballroom dancing. Oh, my gosh. It was hard to find a doubles partner. Let's take a short break, everyone. Hold the garlic. We'll be right back.
The Truth is Funny. Shift Happens with Colette Marie Steffen is excited to welcome Karen Benton as a monthly guest host. Tune in on the third Wednesday of each month at 8 a.m. Pacific Time to regain confidence and trust in your capacity to create change in your life, your health, your family, and your well-being. Karen Benton is a mother, nurse practitioner, certified body talk practitioner, Franklin Method instructor, and owner of Limitless Living LLC. For more information about Karen, visit KarenBenton.com.
Hey, everybody, I'm Dr. Pat.
And I'm Sarah Main, and welcome back to Conscious Confidence Radio.
Before we start to really talk, and you're going to share stories, I love to share stories. Again, please tell us about the free giveaway, as well as how people can find out more about you, how they can contact you, and really talk with you about their own personal coaching.
Yeah. Thanks, Pat. Go to my website, sarahmain.com, sarahmane.com, sarahmain.com. And I've got a giveaway at the moment. It's a really full reference sheet, actually, but set out with tables and diagrams. And it's all about ways that you can maintain balance in your life for your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, and your spiritual body. It's very practical. There's all sorts of ideas of what you can do for food and exercise for the whole person so that you can maintain balance and thrive, not only survive, but thrive in your life. And you'll certainly get some ideas for your kids and your grandchildren. The school that I taught at, this is what we built our whole school and curriculum around, and it really works.
Yeah. And, part of this, too, is we're talking about creating the life we truly desire. We're not talking about compromising. We're not talking about settling. But what we're talking about is a way of living that honors the dignity of the human spirit, which includes us. I wanted to, and thank you for the giveaway. Really appreciate that. Stories now, they put this big survey, they brought all these podcasting executives together. And they put them all together and they ask them a bunch of questions about the future of this medium right here. And so Jessica and I were looking at the report and they were talking about the future. And we said, wow, our folks have been coming to the table and telling stories for years, like over a decade. And what I realized about it is stories are a way to open up hearts. They're a way to make, these concepts that we're talking about relatable at a very deep and personal level. And that's what you do so beautifully. You do it so beautifully. And I think, when we're thinking about conscious confidence now and values, there are so many stories we could share, aren't there?
Yeah, there are. Yeah. I've been talking to quite a few young people lately. These are people in their early 20s, 21 up to 25. And it's just a different perspective on everything that we've been talking about, because they're really open and they're really interested in finding meaning in their life, finding a place to put down roots within themselves. And I was talking to a couple of them, but there was one young man, and he's wants to start his own bakery. And he was interesting because he's has a lot of friends of his own age, and what he's noticed, and it's surprising him and shocking him, he's got these dreams and goals to start his own bakery. But his friends, a number of them, they're really proud, and they wear it as almost a badge of honor that they've got a diagnosis of a mental health issue. So one's proud that they've been diagnosed as having anxiety. Another one's got this sense of sort of pride and identity and a badge of honor that they've now got a diagnosis of depression. I mean, they're actually sort of compare notes with some degree of enthusiasm and pride about the prescriptions they've got for medications to deal with these issues. And he said, I stand there and I think, hang on a minute, aren't you meant to be sort of trying to get out of this? You know, get off the meds, actually find what's going wrong so that you can be free of this. But they're just happy to accept that. It makes them feel special. It gives them some sense of being unique by virtue of this, what we call a mental health issue now, and what's more, the prescription that's meant to actually deal with this. And he's just saying, hang on a minute, and it's really getting him as a 23-year-old to ask questions, what the heck's going on here, and how can we get into balance? And so he's working on himself, and he's really becoming aware of what he's thinking, what he's feeling, how he lives his life each day, so that he's got a good balance of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual input and output. And he's sort of looking at this phenomena that's happening amongst his peers, and it's a real lesson.
Yeah. I interviewed we do these good news segments, and I interviewed Marie-Helene Sicard. She's a vice president of a company called Sodesco, and they do this research on various generations. So the research says exactly what you're saying. Clearly, you knew this and didn't have to do the research. But what it says is, the article was how to create the emotional intelligent workplace, how to prepare for Gen Z.
Yeah.
See, Gen Z. I think I have at least one Gen Z here, probably maybe Carter, but we have a wide range. And believe it or not, we get along really well. But the idea of this generation coming forward that would rather communicate in person with their bosses than on the phone or in Skype, that believe that technology will build a better tomorrow, that they don't really all want to write their own job descriptions. And the other thing is, they think 80%, Sarah, this is exactly what you were talking about. 80% of them think that empathy in the workplace needs to evolve.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's, that comes back to a connection with yourself. If you're connected with yourself, like truly connected with, the values within yourself, you can't help but connect with people in the same way, and you will evolve that way. The whole culture evolves. So what we see outside is just, to me, absolutely, I don't have to go and conduct a study. There is a study going on. You only just need to open your eyes and have a look. I mean, my husband and I were having lunch the other day just in a little cafe, and a man and was sitting outside, and a man, just a slightly elderly man, walked across the road, and another man was driving along. And as he drove along the road, this elderly man was still crossing the road. Can you see my hands? Yeah. So the man's walking and the car's coming, and this man stops, winds down the window, and the man driving the car wasn't young. It's not like some young guy complaining to an old guy. He winds up and he's effing and blinding and cussing at him. And we're thinking, why? What does this do?
Exactly.
But this sort of blah expression of the energy that's inside people, this toxicity of emotional energy that's bursting out all over the place, is just an indication that things are out of balance. And this young guy, it's such a lesson to hear them when he said, look, they wear these diagnoses as a badge of honor. It makes them feel special. I thought, yikes.
Yeah, it is a yikes.
This is serious.
It is. It's seriously, each act like that has an effect on the soul, the movement of the soul, But this really directly talks and points to planting the roots deeply, as you talk about planting the roots deeply. And that's what the F.U.S.E program does, because we're talking about the knowledge, the emotion, the mental, physical. You've created a way to integrate all this, right?
All of that. And it's very practical. The values, it gets us connected deeply, those roots into ourselves, because these are universal values. They apply everywhere at all time with everyone. So they are universal in that sense. Then becoming aware of our attitude, choosing a positive attitude and understanding the power of attitude. Positive attitude isn't just putting a Band-Aid over a situation. It is a fundamental building block in terms of our health and well-being and resilience and self-esteem. So understanding what attitude actually is. It's all in the program. And then the focusing, uniting, simplifying, energizing. That's where we get the F.U.S.E from. And balancing these energies so that we have a vibrant, brilliant, vital person, an individual that's natural and in touch with themselves and has strong roots. And that's where the resilience, the self-esteem and the balance comes from. It is entirely possible. It's entirely natural. And I believe it's the way God and the universe intended us to be. It's how we're designed. And these imbalances are fundamentally unnatural. And we're just becoming used to them and accepting them as becoming normal. And they aren't normal. They needn't be like that. We can be balanced. We can have strength and self-esteem and resilience. And my experience with the young people is you start talking to them and they want it. They know something's missing and they want it.
Yeah, not only that, we're now knowing, and this is where your work comes in, because you've known this. Now you're out talking to young people. And I was really struck when in this little short, it was like a 10-minute interview. What I said was, so listen, so these young folks have very similar values to what you all said the boomers have.
Yeah.
And I asked her a question. And this is where you come in. I said, listen, if having high emotional self-awareness in the workplace is number one predictor of overall success, and more than 3/4 of all people in the workplace say their relationship with their coworkers is key to their engagement, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Because it's clearly not where at least in this country, it's clearly not where corporate America has been going in the treatment of their employees.
Yeah. Well, look, it comes back to really fundamental things. It's this connection with values. So, and the thing is, do you know how to speak with courtesy and dignity and respect to someone?
Yeah.
Do you know how to maintain balance? If you're frustrated, fine, we all get frustrated, but is that a license to then just blurt that all out over everybody? I mean, really, I mean, I'm all for free expression, but that's where in our last show last month, we talked about the discipline of speech. It's in the Bhagavad Gita. By all means, have free expression, but the inner discipline we all need to adopt is to check ourselves and say, is this uplifting what I'm going to say? You have to value something that is uplifting rather than pulling down and attacking and fault finding. There are just sort of, and we used to call it sort of basic decencies. And it was, that was just how we were brought up. But some of these things, bringing those back in so that they become the fundamental building blocks of how we conduct our lives, then you can move around freely. Mm-hmm. The essence of discipline is actually to move freely. It's not to constrict.
Right.
That's a misunderstanding of what the word discipline means. It means to be able to move freely.
Yeah. Boy, I'll tell you, we do some really interesting things with words. But you're going to help us out with that when we come back. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, oh boy, Sarah's going to share something absolutely beautiful. But more importantly, what we want to talk to everybody about is how you can feel happier, lighter, more energetic. What does it mean to grow in resilience and strength? I mean, who doesn't want that? But in the end, do you wake up every day feeling joyful and hopeful and knowing who you are and having such a great notion of self and high value and high worth? Is that you? If not, you're going to want to listen to what Sarah shares when we come back. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stop stress, anxiety, and low self-esteem from running your life? Join award-winning author Dr. Friedemann Schaub for Empowerment Radio and learn breakthrough solutions to switch out of survival mode and approach every day with great ease, joy, and purpose. Tune in the first and third Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific to Empowerment Radio with host Dr. Friedemann Schaub on Transformation Talk Radio. Visit thefearandanxietysolution.com to learn more.
Ignite your inner magic on Grow Your Soul Radio with Jane Matanga. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as host Jane Matanga explores how to overcome your fears to help you gain the inspiration you need to awaken your path to joy. Learn the way to life mastery and the enlightened path with Grow Your Soul Radio. For more information on Jane Matanga and her work, visit enlightened-path.com.
What is a brilliant culture and how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you align your culture with your business strategy for exceptional results. Looking for a culture that drives organizational excellence? Listen to Cultural Brilliance Radio, the second and fourth Friday of each month at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit culturalbrilliance.com.
To see your life from an angel's perspective, book a personal consultation with Claire Candy Huff, Angelic Walk-In Angel Ariel at Angel Healing House. Candy provides intuitive counseling, Reiki, and angel readings in person in Los Angeles or nationally and internationally via phone or Skype. She will channel the practical tools you need to transform your life. Call now, 831-277-3716, or visit angelhealinghouse.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Pat.
And I'm Sarah Main, and welcome to Conscious Confidence Radio.
For those of you out there, as we've been saying, please go to Sarah's website, sarahmain.com. She's got a great download for everyone. And today, this is a very important conversation. It's a conversation for our time. It's a conversation no matter what age you are, no matter where you are in your life. What we're talking about is essential and moving forward with confidence, with joy, with happiness. And that is to look at resilience, self-esteem, and balance through the lens of conscious confidence. Sarah, we've talked about a number of things today. We've talked about what does it mean to have these core values be so clear. But sometimes we go through life, and I know for myself, I had these great aspirations and dreams, and I haven't always been successful. I have fallen down a couple of times, actually more than that. I even fall down playing table tennis, but I get up. And sometimes I'm not clear what I'm going to do when I get up, but I get up. And I want to ask you this question. How does conscious confidence, how does the F.U.E program, how does it address this idea of having the chutzpah to start and the resilience to pick oneself up again?
Well, it covers the whole life experience insofar as the values, the attitude, and then the energy, the focusing energy you need. That's that strength and determination, the uniting energy. which is the ability to come together, to work with people, to work with yourself, to be integrated. There's the simplifying energy, which is to let go of unnecessary things that just burden and hold you back. And then there's the energizing, the taking positive, enthusiastic action. So it's the F.U.S.E, focusing, uniting, simplifying, energizing. It focuses on all of these things. It's a self-directed program. So it gets you in touch with yourself. And you're asking yourself questions. It's self-directed. It's not someone lecturing you from the outside. It's just giving you that reconnection with yourself and awakening within you all of these elements so that you find within yourself that you are resilient, that you can be balanced, that you have self-esteem. This is natural. It shouldn't be seen as special. It's natural. And it's just reawakening all of that. I've got a great story if you want to hear it. It's about a young woman. This is a young woman, and this is a real story. You know, I'm sure we've all got plenty of stories like this, but this young woman, she had a business. She had this burning desire to be successful and have her own business, right? And that just takes chutzpah to begin with. So she finds something that she's keen on, and she starts this business. Look, she has to find her own way. She's got no business training, but she's got the determination to have a go. So she has a go. She gets this business up and running. I mean, 1,001 mistakes all the time, but she's learning as she's going. So far, this is normal, you know. This is how life is. You learn as you go. Anyway, she's successful. Fantastic. Going really well. And then by an act of nature, literally an act of weather and nature, her whole business is wiped out, lost, overnight, act of nature, gone, right? The next day she gets to where the business is located and she sees that's it, gone, finished, all that work, all that effort. And she said, look, she just wanted to cry. She did cry. She said, oh, what can I do? This is like devastating. And then in her, she just came back to what was important, those values, those roots within herself. She took a look at her attitude. And this didn't take a long time, but she just spent some time with herself in that moment. And she thought, I'm just not going to let this get on top of me. And she just made that decision. And within, I kid you not, she made a decision there and then she was going to get back on her feet and get going again. There and then she restarted a whole new business in a different area, unrelated. She took all of that knowledge, all of that determination in a new area, and within 3 months she was up and running again. And by 6 months she was profitable again. Isn't that amazing? And that was all from that switch in the attitude.
Yeah. I mean, we know the power of that. I mean, it's well documented. And yet, even though we know it, many people forget it. We forget that there has been truly ideas and notion that we can do that. You know, one of the things that I love about this, and I learned this too, was sometimes I've had to fake it till I made it.
Yeah.
I had to borrow somebody else's faith, you know, for something. I've got some great close friends. Linda's my best friend, also producer. And, you know, I have shoulders to lean on.
Yeah.
And I think for somebody like me, that's been important. It always hasn't been there. And I think part of this you're going to share now is some beautiful wisdom, you know, this ancient wisdom, this Sanskrit about this life that we could build, that we could craft. You know, I don't know why we have this forgetter, right? Where we think we're powerlessness. You know, we're powerless.
Yeah.
But we are the ones that can control our attitude, right?
Absolutely. No one else can.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the one of the elements of the power of this wisdom, and this wisdom is timeless. It's been around for millennia. It's not like it was made up last week. the beauty of this is it expresses universal elements to ourselves. So it's always available, it's ever available, but we do need to know about it. That's why I'm passionate about young people knowing this, because they only need a little bit of it. It's so powerful. You only need a little bit of it, and it's enough to build your life from. You don't need the whole thing. You just need a little bit, a taste, whatever you connect with. And the Sanskrit I've chosen for today is taken from the Bhagavad Gita, just like the discipline for speech. But this is a whole list describing the divine nature of a person, a person with the values, the virtues, and the divine element in their nature. And we all have these. These are the qualities. So when we connect with these qualities, it does, even just one, and one brings in all of them in some form or another, we are expressing the divine.
Why don't we share that now? Because it's so powerful. It's hard to put words to it, right?
Yeah.
But when you speak them, the energy and the vibration of the room just changes.
Thank you. So they're 3 verses, they're covering 3 verses, and they're a list of qualities. And I'm just getting my notes. So I'll read them in English, and these are so beautiful. So these are the qualities, values, and virtues of a divine nature. Fearlessness, purity of heart, steady knowledge of truth, ever-giving, self-control, sacrifice, study of sacred wisdom, discipline and rectitude, harmlessness, truthfulness, absence of anger, letting things go, peacefulness, restraint from fault-finding, compassion for all living beings, absence of covetousness, kindness, modesty, steadiness, vigor, patience, courage, cleanliness of mind and body, freedom from malice, free from excessive pride. That's beautiful, isn't it? And this is the Sanskrit for that list. Abhayam sattva sanshudhir jnana yoga vyavastiti danam damascha yajnascha swadhyayastapa arjavam ahimsa satyam akrodhas tyaga shantirapaishunam daya bhuteshvalo luptvam mardavam hrirachapalam tejakshamadhriti shaucham madroho natimanita bhavanti sampadam daivim abhijatasya bharata.
You know, such an ancient wisdom that transcends time.
Yeah.
And that's really what the conversation is. That's what conscious confidence is about.
Yeah.
It's really reminding us that we don't have to be separated by age. We don't have to be separated by gender. We don't have to be separated by race, by religion, none of those things. That separation is really not what we were here to promote. And I think that you so beautifully remind us that we are all connected, right? It sounds so simple, yet so difficult sometimes. Oh, thank you for a great show. I wanted to ask you, in summary, what would be the personal message? What would you say to folks listening today in the spirit of resilience and in the spirit of conscious confidence?
Take a moment to ask yourself, what is the 1, 2, or 3 most important values that really matter to you, not what someone else has taught you. What's important to you? Is it courage? Is it fearlessness? Is it patience? Is it not finding fault with everything? Is it acceptance? Connect with some of these universal values. Find out what's really important to you, and then spend today seeing how you can live by that value alone, and you'll start seeing a transformation.
Sarah, thank you so much for today.
Thanks, Pat.
I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Thank you so much. And again, if you've missed any part of this, certainly you'll be able to watch it on Facebook, also at transformationtalkradio.com, as well as on Sarah's site, sarahmain.com. Thank you all for being you and taking this journey with us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Conscious Confidence with Sarah Main. Join us next month on Transformation Talk Radio for more timeless wisdom with Sarah's exciting and innovative approach to living. Discover more joy, freedom, and step into your limitless potential. For more information on Sarah Main and her work, or to listen to past shows, visit sarahmain.com.